Hello, hello. Good afternoon. Happy Sunday. Let me just put my phone on Do Not Disturb. Hello. Sorry, my daughter was texting me. She's trying to cook and I was trying to let her know what she needed to put in the pot. So hello everyone. I wanted to go live today because I felt a nudge from the Holy Spirit that there's something I needed to talk about. And I didn't want to kind of let the topic slip. Normally I'll feel a nudge or I'll have something on my mind and I will get distracted or say, oh, I'm washing dishes or I'm sleeping or whatever, and I won't go live or I won't make a post about it and I'll forget it. So I'm working on doing better with that. So what I want to talk about today is 5 reasons that successful women are chronically single. Okay, so I'm just going to jump right into it. Thank you to those of you that are watching. Please comment so that I can say hi to you. Let me know where you're watching from. And for those of you watching the replay, just type replay so that I know you watched later. Okay, so the first reason is not inviting God into your love life. So I don't know everybody's personal beliefs as far as their faith and things like that, but I found that most women are looking for a man of strong moral character. And the thing is, if you are not governing yourself according to a set of morals and values, and you don't have a connection to your higher power, you're kind of, just kind of floating through life, doing whatever you feel like you want to do from moment to moment, and you don't have a requirement of that from men either, you will have a hard time finding someone who knows how to discipline themselves and behave a certain way and show up a certain way in relationships when they don't feel like it. Okay, so in marriage, even though I haven't been married a super long time, I've been in a relationship, a committed relationship for almost 6 years. And I will say that there's going to be a lot of times where you don't feel like doing the right thing, where you don't feel like you love or like or want to be with the person you're in relationship with. And what gets you back on track in those moments is knowing, okay, I have a set of beliefs that I'm choosing to live by. I'm not going to let my feelings in this moment dictate my decisions. I believe this is wrong and this is right. And this is how I choose to live. This is who I am and this is what I do. And when you have that template that you're living by and you invite God into your love life and allow him to show you the qualities that you need to be looking for in a mate and the qualities that you need to be embodying as a wife, you will have a much easier time discerning who's right for you. You will have a stronger sense of who you are and valuing and loving yourself, because you're not going based on the feedback that the world's giving you, but you're letting God fill you up with his love and your sense of self and giving you direction. You will actually be able to hear from the Holy Spirit. You will be able to be guided divinely to take certain actions that maybe people who aren't listening and aren't available to God, they don't get those nudges. You may hear a still small voice say, go to that place, or don't talk to this person, or this situation isn't right for you. Don't stay at this party, or you know what, you should get up and get dressed and go to the pier today, or you should go to this event. You will get those nudges when you are spiritually tuned in. So that's number one. Definitely invite God into your life, into your love life. Start allowing yourself to be spiritually led, because there's a much bigger, more complex world than what we are able to see with our eyes and experience with our senses. There's a whole nother spiritual realm, and we're truly spiritual beings having a human experience. So if you tap into those abilities, that knowledge, and those gifts that transcend this 3D world that we live in, you will be much more powerful, and you'll have knowledge downloaded into you that you wouldn't have known otherwise. You don't have to read a book. You don't have to hear it from someone else. It comes from within, and it's already confirmed because you know it. You know it's coming from him. Okay? You know it's coming from a place where it's already proven. You don't have to question. You don't have to have someone else validate what you've heard when you hear for yourself. Okay? Number 2, thinking that being self-sufficient is a way to negate needing to have relationship skills and interpersonal skills. So I see a lot of women, and I myself did this, who find a lot of pride and they get a sense of self-esteem from the fact that they are really successful in the business world, or they are successful in their lifestyle in terms of the home they have, that they're raising their children, that they have an education, they have a good job, things like that. And those things are important, but they don't negate the need for you to learn how to interact with, get along with, and ultimately submit to the leadership of the man that you have the privilege to choose for yourself. There are some countries where women do not get to choose their husbands for themselves. They are betrothed by their parents or by whomever makes that decision in their society. But we are actually lucky enough to choose the men that we want to submit to. Don't be fooled into thinking that because you are smart in other areas, because you have your own apartment, because you have a car, because you dress nice, or because you have these outward things, that you don't need to still learn how to get along with people, that you don't need to learn boundaries, that you don't need to learn how to get along with men. Those things are important. Those things actually open doors for you. They will open doors in every area of your life. If you learn how to interact with people and gain favor and actually be likable and know how to talk and know how to be yourself and be authentic, but also express to other people that you're interested in hearing about them, that you know how to actively listen, okay? That you are not someone who tends toward conflict, that conflict doesn't follow you in every relationship. If you find you can't get along with people, that at every job, there's always somebody or a group of people that grind your gears, you can't get along with bosses, you can't get along with men, you're constantly falling out with friends, there's something to look at with you. And I know that it is something that brings you a great sense of pride, that you picked yourself up by your bootstraps and you got out of the ghetto or got out of your mama's house, or that you persevered against the odds and now you're not in poverty, now you're educated, now you're doing well. Those things are great, but do not stop there, because those things will not get you a partner. Okay? And if they do get you a partner, they will get you a partner that wants to capitalize on those things that you have. They're literally attracted to you because of the things that you're presenting. You're presenting that you're independent. Therefore, you don't need anything from him, so he's not going to offer you anything. You're presenting that you have your own apartment, your own nice car, that you can pay for trips. Okay, great. You're checking off the list of things that he doesn't have to bring to the table because you already got it. And he can't impress you with those things either. So what kind of man do you think you're going to draw to yourself, listing out and presenting those things as what you give to the world when you're telling them who you are? Hey, it's really important to get your interpersonal skills together. If you're uncomfortable talking to people, if you're uncomfortable on dates or interacting with men, that is something to work on through circular or rotational dating. That means the more you get out there, the more you do it, the more comfortable you will become. If you go on one date every 6 months, it's going to be hard. It's going to be uncomfortable. You're going to find yourself lacking confidence because you literally don't know what you're doing. But the more you do something, as with anything, the better you get at it. You start picking up tips. You start getting confident, especially when you get good feedback from the men you're going on dates with. So again, This is one of those things that you cannot learn from watching videos or sitting back and reading a book about it. You need to actually get out there and work on your interpersonal skills. And consider the feedback that you're getting from people. Do they tell you that you seem closed off, that you seem like you're not present, that, you get very defensive when they share things with you? You need to consider what people are telling you about their experience of you. If it's a questionable source, take it with a grain of salt. Use your good discernment. Chew the meat, spit out the bones. Don't get too attached to if you have a toxic relative and they're telling you that you're so hard to get along with, but you don't hear that from other people. But if there's a pattern, consider it. Hi, Diane. How are you? And hi, Aria. Okay, so we're talking about 5 reasons why successful women are chronically single. The first reason was not inviting God into your love life. The second reason was thinking that being self-sufficient negates the need for good interpersonal skills and relationship skills. Okay. The last thing I'll say about relationship skills is looking into polarity, understanding the law of polarity. So that basically means that 2 polar opposites kind of fit together. It's like the negative end of a battery and the positive end of the battery together, they create power, right? You can't have 2 negative ends and 2 positive ends, or if you put the batteries in wrong, it doesn't make the thing function, because you have to have both, okay? You have to have the light and the dark. You have to have those 2 complementary things fitting together. So if you are embodying the leadership type of qualities in your relationship, if you are the doer, if you are the one that figures everything out, if you are the one that makes the plans, if you are the one that solves the problems, if you are the one that pays the bills, you will attract a man who does the opposite. That's just how it goes. The law of polarity. So if you want somebody who's going to assume those roles and take those things on and be your leader, be the provider, be the protector, you need to settle back into the opposite energy and create room for someone to step in and do those things. Now, I know you'll say, well, Ashley, I'm a single woman and I have a place and I have bills, or I have kids and I kind of have to be in my masculine-esque energy. I will say, I understand that the position you're in life requires you to do some things that maybe traditionally you would want a man to do. And I get that, but start finding ways that you can dial back and focus more on being than doing. And definitely do not do that in relationship. What you have to do to survive as a single woman is different than what you do on dates and what you do in relationship with men. Do not reach for the check. Okay, do not make it easy. Go out of your way to make it easy for a man to pursue you, to court you. You need to rest in your worth and know that, you know what, it's okay to allow him to work for my hand. It's okay to allow him to put in some effort to woo me and to impress me. I don't need to lay out the red carpet and act like I'm desperate for men to come my way. So I'm going to make it super duper easy and be very easy to please and easy to impress. And, oh, you took me to Chili's for a 2 for $22 and I'm blown away. Like, no, you have to have a little bit higher standards for what you require and how you present yourself. Okay, so don't go out of your way to make it easy. It's okay for a man to work for you. In fact, that is preferred, because men will invest time and effort and money into women and situations that they value. And situations that don't require any investment from them, just like a free lunch, they can kind of take it or leave it. They figure if it was valuable, you wouldn't be giving it away for free. If it was valuable, you wouldn't be making it so super easy to get in your heart, get in your bed, to get in your good graces. So definitely learn about relationship polarity and how to embody your feminine energy. And I teach a lot of that in this group. Okay. The third step, or the third reason why a lot of women are having difficulty finding mates that are successful dynamic women, is they are not self-aware and they're not truly doing the healing work on themselves. So check this out. A lot of us that are grown-ups and we are doing the damn thing, and we have businesses, we have great jobs, we have all of these things that are amazing accolades. We come from troubled childhoods. We come from trauma and having experienced things that changed us as young women, as young girls. So we either probably had an absent parent, if not one, both. A lot of women grew up and they endured some kind of abuse, whether it was emotional, physical, sometimes religious abuse. A lot of us were neglected. A lot of us had to grow up too fast, or maybe we were victimized by somebody in our lives, maybe someone that we trusted, a family member, a friend. We've overcome a lot. And that is kind of what drives us to position ourselves and have a better life and do these things that people say that we can't do, and, you know, kind of triumph over our story. But you still have to go back and do the work to heal that, okay? You can't just paste over it with frosting, and frosting being all of your accomplishments. Like, you have to have your foundation healed. You can't build on top of a cracked foundation. A lot of us have not gone to therapy. A lot of us have not done the work to process that trauma and really reach a place of acceptance of what happened and moving beyond it, of being able to look at it differently, of nurturing our inner child and healing our inner child who felt abused, used, abandoned, neglected. We haven't even acknowledged her. We've kind of put that off to the side and said, you know what, I can't deal with that right now. I can't think about it. I don't want to think about it. I don't even want to remember it. I'm just going to go on with my life and do great things. And we have. But guess what? That little girl in us is still waiting to be acknowledged. That little girl in us is still saying, you know what? I need to feel loved. I need to feel important. I need to feel protected. I need somebody to empathize with my pain and acknowledge that this happened to me. I need somebody to cry for me. I need somebody to care. And that somebody is you. No one else can do it. Once you become an adult, you are the only one that can heal your pain. You are the only one that can change your mind to where you can talk about an event and it no longer emotionally triggers you. You can reach a place where you can recall something that happened to you that was horribly traumatic and not even have an emotional response, not even have it trigger you or kick up certain emotions in your body or even take you back there mentally. You can get to a place where you talk about it and it almost feels like a different person. A great example of this is Joyce Meyer. Joyce Meyer, sadly, was sexually abused by her own father for years in her childhood. I think she said about 10 years. He even did it to one of her friends when she brought a friend over to spend the night. So she was sexually abused by her own parent for years. She can now talk about this after many years and after, of course, her relationship with God being strengthened and fortified and the things that she's learned and God kind of just working on her heart and her doing the healing work. And I'm sure she's gone to therapy too. She can now talk about it. And she's not crying. She's not sad. She's not emotionally moved. She's able to tell the story as though she's talking about a different person. Because you know what? She is talking about a different person. She no longer identifies with being the victim. She no longer identifies as the Joyce whose father sexually abused her. She sees herself as the woman she is now, the woman whom she has become. But you cannot close the door on who you were until you make peace with that. If you just close the door and walk off, guess what? It's still there waiting. It will wait for you and it will get triggered. It will come up in your relationships with partners. You will get triggered when you see somebody who looks like the person who did you wrong, or you will choose mates that remind you of your parents subconsciously because you haven't worked that out. You haven't processed through it and made peace mentally, and also detox that trauma out of your body because your cells remember. Okay, just like how we develop like a food aversion. If you eat, I don't know, if you eat at a restaurant one time and you get sick, a lot of times you don't ever want to eat there again because your body remembers. Okay, you will get a feeling in the pit of your stomach if you see somebody who treated you horribly in the past, you'll get those hairs on your arms will stand up, or on the back of your neck, or you'll feel that feeling in the pit of your stomach. Like there is a total connection between your emotions and your body. So you need to actually detox those memories out of your body, not just mentally. And there's energetic work you can do to make that happen. There's acupuncture, there's sound healing, there's hypnotherapy. Okay, there's talk therapy. There's lots of different modalities. There's even taking detox baths to bring toxins that are in your cells to the surface. And it's been scientifically proven that those stress hormones stay in your body. Okay, also from the things you eat, but those stress hormones stay in your body. So you want to bring your body and your mind out of a state of survival, out of a state of feeling like I'm a victim and I have to walk through life protecting myself and watching out for people and feeling like, when's the next time I'm going to be treated bad or taken advantage of? You want to disassociate from that, because as long as you operate in that mindset, you will continue to attract those experiences, because that's what you believe. So that's what you create unknowingly. Okay. Fourth reason, pursuing men who do not value you and who are not marriage material. A lot of us were not taught what marriage material is, so I will explain that in just a moment. But first, I want to talk about men who do not value you. Just because a man wants your phone number, just because a man says that you're pretty, just because a man wants to sleep with you, just because a man asks you out on a date, does not mean that he values you. Well, how do you know when a man values you, Ashley? Over time. You have to observe him, okay? You have to allow some time and some room for him to show you a pattern of behavior over time. You cannot discern that in one day unless he acts crazy. If he acts crazy from the gate, if he's cutting up from the get-go, you can rest assured that's not a man who values you. He's not even trying to impress you and he just met you. He's not even trying to step to you with some kind of respect or being kind, showing you affinity, trying, okay, to present his best self to you, to get you to allow him to take you out or something like that. If he's not doing that, go ahead and cross him off the list. He ruined his chances before he even had a chance. But if you meet a man and he expresses interest in you initially, give it some time. And the way you be okay with giving it time and not being in a rush is when you have options. And again, that brings us back to the rotational dating. When you have options, when there are other men you can talk to, when you have a full life on your own and you are generally happy because you're doing things that make you happy, whatever those things look like, you're okay giving it some time to let the real man rise to the surface, to see who he truly is and how he treats you over time. Anybody can be nice to you for a week. Anybody can impress you for a few days, but who is going to continue to show up for you over the course of weeks, months, years? How does he act when you're in need? How does he act when you're in distress? Okay. Is he willing to sacrifice for you? Is he willing to go out of his way for you? Those are the men that show you that they value you, that they don't want to see you struggle, that they don't want to see you sad. And a lot of time you will meet men like that and they feel that way about you from the get-go, or it takes very little time. It's not because you did anything for them, because that's transactional. Those men who feel that way about you often can discern that you're special just from looking at you. They recognize that you're a wife. They recognize that you're someone that they want in their world and that they want to get to know, and they treat you accordingly. Conversely, I want to talk briefly about marriage-minded men. So marriage-minded men and men who are marriage material know how to treat a woman. They do not need to take you through the struggle and the storm before they decide they're going to treat you right. These are men that are already living right. They are already adhering to a strong sense of moral character. They're already responsible. They have room in their life for a woman, and they actually want a woman in that space. They're not coming to you going off about marriage and the modern woman and dragging women in general and saying horrible things about them to the point where you wonder, do you even like women? Or, what's the deal with that? Or do you just view them as sex objects? Do you just view them as accessories to your own life? No. There are men out there who are good men, just like you're a good woman. Just like maybe your girlfriends or the other women that you know in your life are also good women. They're good men. Please don't believe the lie that just because you haven't encountered any, that they're not out there. That actually points more to some changes you need to make in your approach and your belief system and how you are going about finding these men than it does all the men that exist, because you don't know all the men. You may even be on an app and feel like, oh, I've swiped through all the profiles, so I know what's out there. No, you don't. Because all the men out there are not on the profiles that you're on. All the men out there are not at the events that you're going to. Maybe if you keep encountering and being attracted to men who are not of strong moral character, who are not pursuing you, who are not marriage-minded, you need to switch up where you're going, who you're talking to, the places that you're frequenting, how you're presenting yourself. There's a lot that you can do and change to get different results. Because, honey, there's billions of men in this world. Not even just limited to your town or the places that you currently go. Maybe you need to go some new places. So we'll talk about that. That's the next one. But just understanding, a lot of women get caught up on a man who makes them feel a certain kind of way. And those feelings are not based in how he's really treating you. They're based in a response you get in your body to being around him. He makes you feel excited. Some of us who grew up in dysfunctional homes were actually addicted to the highs and the lows. So something about a man who comes on strong and then dials it back and disappears and then pops back in and then disappears again, that activates us because we're used to inconsistency. It's familiar to us. And we choose men based on how they look, how they make us feel, not how he's treating us, but how they make us feel. And the feelings aren't good. But you want to change the situation. You want to see if you can possibly tame him or get him to change his ways, get him to be the man you want him to be, because there's some internal validation you'll get from doing that. And I can quickly tie that into, if you had a troubled relationship with your parents, you will often try to recreate that parental dynamic that you had with your mate and get your mate to do what your parent didn't do, which is choose you, which is love you, which is be there for you, which is not abandon you. So you will project the dynamics you had with that parent onto your romantic partners. You will subconsciously continue to choose men that are not going to show up for you because you keep trying to right that wrong and change that story, not with your parent, but with the mate that you're choosing. Okay. But we'll get into that later because that can get really deep. But bottom line is, stop choosing men based on how they look. Okay. Because you can have a really handsome man who treats you like crap. And what good is that going to do? Okay. Women are the attractive ones in the relationship. We're the beautiful ones, not the men. Okay. You really want to, before you start dating, have a list of qualities that are super important to you and focus on those. Okay. There are a lot of men who treat a woman like a queen, like a goddess, and they may not be Rico Suave. They may not be the playboy, the bad boy, the one that gets you going. But you know what? As you get older and as you mature, you start to value different things. And that excitement, that butterflies, that jump, after you've been through enough heartache, you start to value stability. You start to value somebody who is going to treat you right and treat your kids right, and who wants to build with you, who wants to make your life easier and see you happy and pray for you and pray with you and protect you and provide for you. And when you choose the playboy, when you choose the man who is in demand in the dating market that all the women want, and he knows it and he acts like it, you end up struggling. Like, yeah, you have the man, but you are struggling just to get the bare minimum, struggling to get crumbs, struggling to get him to show up for you and actually act like he likes you. Because we know when a man likes you, there's a certain way he treats you. If he's not treating you that way, Something is off there. He's not into you in the way that you need him to be for you to even be considering a relationship with him. Don't focus on the men that you like. Focus on the men who like you. Start there. That's a great place to start. Look at who likes you. And not just who likes you the first night. Who likes you after months? When you haven't given them anything, when you're not sleeping with them, when you're not giving them money or doing anything for them, look at who continually shows up for you. Look at who's still interested in you, who's still sending you the hi beautiful, just checking in, who wants to talk to you and spend hours on the phone with you and isn't asking for you to give them your body or give them anything in return. Those are the men that really like you. So stop going for the man you like who don't like you back and is taking you through the ringer. Pay attention to who likes you. And if you don't like the selection of men who like you, it's time for you to change up what you're presenting. Okay? If you are attracting a certain type, you have to consider the bait. You have to consider what you're putting out there that tells those men that they are a match for you. Okay, it could be how you're dressing. It could be how you're acting. It could be how you're talking, your belief system. There's a lot of different things that you can recalibrate to start attracting a different kind of man. But the bottom line is it's way more important that he like you, because guess what? Men control access to marriage. Unless you plan on pursuing a man and proposing to him, a man controls whether you get married or not because they propose. So you want a man who wants you, not a man you have to win over and beg and plead and try to convince and give things so that he'll want you. You want a man who wants you for you, who actually wants to give to you and make you happy. That's what you're looking for. That's what's going to feel the best to you as a feminine woman. Okay, so less attention on the guys you like them. Okay, look at him, say, you know what? He's attractive and I like his muscles. He looks good. He's got swag. I'm into that. But you know what? If he's not pursuing you, go the other way. Mind your business. Do not position yourself to be a member of his fan club or a woman who's just going to boost his ego by pursuing him. Pay attention to who is concerned with getting your attention, who wants to take you out, treat you right, court you, give to you, because the feminine receives, the masculine gives and provides. That's the proper way. That is what will feel the best to you. And that's what will give you that self-assuredness to know how a man feels without asking, so where is this going? So what are we? So when are we going to put a label on it? So when am I going to get a key to your place? When are we going to say we're official when I'm your girlfriend? You won't have to ask those questions when you get a man that actually likes you. Okay? Last is not positioning themselves properly. So again, it's really important that you look at where you're going to meet men. And again, how you're presenting yourself. So if you keep going to clubs, if you keep going to the same free apps, if you keep going to the same local events and you're not meeting anybody, that's not the place. Okay, you need to try something else. You need to go somewhere else and maybe even reverse engineer it and consider the type of man you want. Where would he be at? And you position yourself to be approached by him. Be more strategic about it, because guess what? You don't want the bottom of the barrel. You don't want the fly-by-night, whatever type of relationship. You want quality. You want a good man. You want a man who's going to treat you right, who has his life together, who's a protector, a provider, strong moral character, and all of that. You need to think about, he may not be in the places that I currently go. A lot of us are stuck in routine. You know, we stay home a lot, or we go maybe to the hair shop or the nail shop, or we go shopping, and that's it. And we're like, well, if it's not the Amazon man, I don't know how a man's going to even find me to approach me because I don't go anywhere. You need to start. Okay? There is some effort you do have to put into it. You're not to pursue a man, but you are to position yourself to be pursued by men who are interested. So one thing I encourage women to do, especially if you're a professional type and that's the type of man you want, is to consider going to happy hours at upscale hotels or consider places where affluent people hang out. So that would be like your luxury health clubs, country clubs, going to restaurants in areas where there's a lot of business buildings, because professionals, when they get off of work and they don't want to be in traffic, they go to happy hours to have drinks and appetizers and chit chat and wait for the traffic to die down. And then they go home. So if you're there, you're prime positioning for those type of men to see you, to notice, hey, you know, I see you come in here a lot, or maybe you're participating in the conversation, whatever. You're positioning yourself to be found by them. They're not going to find you hiding in your house. They're not going to find you at a place where there's only women. They're probably not going to approach you on a girls' trip or where you're surrounded by a sea of women, because men don't want to be rejected either. Men have nerves too. So it's a lot less intimidating to approach a woman who's by herself, who looks like she's open to being approached, versus walking into a group of women and risking being embarrassed. So again, proper positioning is important. Be willing to go on speed dates. Be willing to go to events where professional men frequent. That would be like charity events, galas, alumni events. Like, start thinking outside the box. Stop doing the same things and not getting the results you want and continuing to do them, or cursing the entire dating pool, because there are men out there who are looking for women like you. Okay? But you need to come together. You need to find a way to position yourself for them to find you, for them to see you, see your openness, see you looking good and being attractive and having this open energy that invites them to approach you. It is 100% possible. And it's going to feel really good. Once you do it, and once you get a flow going and you're building a rotation, your self-esteem is really going to skyrocket. You're going to realize it's not as hard as you thought. And you're really going to settle back into the energy of being the chooser. Instead of waiting and wondering when a suitable man's going to come along, you're going to feel like, ooh, well, you know, James wants to take me out Friday night, but so does Roger. But then so does Jack. And I don't know. I have a lot of events on my little black book. My calendar is getting full. You know, I'm going to have to try to split my time up, because there are a lot of men who are interested, and these will be a new kind of man. If you're used to dating men who are broke, men who need you to do everything and you have to mother them, men who don't have anything to offer you or bring you to the table, men who are irresponsible, men who have issues with being a man and leading and owning those responsibilities that men traditionally have and typically take pride in, position yourself to be found by different men. There are doctors, there are lawyers, there are hardworking business owners, there are men who are investment bankers, there are men who are college professors. There's so many great professional men. You can start there. It doesn't speak to their character. You still need to vet properly for character. And I have a class that teaches you how to do that. If you're interested, just ask me. I'll send you the link. You need to position yourself to be found by different guys. Stop cycling through the same men on the dating app who were on there 6 months ago and who were on there a year ago, especially if it's a free app. I always say a man who's serious about finding a woman is willing to put some skin in the game by paying. So I would suggest you do the same thing and pay to be in proximity to those men, but also make the effort to get dolled up, go out and position yourself where you can be found by these men and be open to being approached. Okay? So those are the 5 reasons why successful women are chronically single. I'm going to recap really quick. Not inviting God into your love life. Thinking that being self-sufficient negates the need for strong interpersonal skills and relationship skills. Okay? Not being self-aware and truly healing. Pursuing men who don't value you or who are not marriage material. And then number 5 is not positioning yourself properly. If you really think about it, if you made those 5 shifts, if you stopped doing those things and did the opposite, you would absolutely 100% meet men. Absolutely 100%. There's no way that your phone would be dry, that you're not going to be invited out on dates, that you're still going to, in 6 months, not have success, not have anything to show for your efforts. You absolutely will, because there are men looking for you. They're out there. You got to stop overlooking them. You got to make it a little easier for them to find you. You have to have your mind right. You have to know which type of men you really want to find. And it's not just who's easy on the eyes. That is less important. I almost want to say, kind of put that to the side. Allow yourself to find men attractive who treat you well. Okay, now I'm not saying go for a Quasimodo, but a lot of men may be like okay looking. He's not The Rock. He's not Jason Momoa. He's not a supermodel, but he's a regular everyday guy. But if a regular everyday guy is treating you like a queen, he can become a lot more attractive. Way more attractive than a man who looks fine but is treating you like crap. Okay? Or halfway interested in you and leaving you on red, or having you doubting yourself or questioning how he feels or where this is going for years and years and years. Okay? So I hope this was helpful. Let me know in the comments if you watched this all the way through. Let me know if this was helpful. I am going to download this and post it to my YouTube. So if you're watching on YouTube, thank you for watching. Please let me know in the comments if this was helpful. If you have any questions, feel free to DM me. If you want to book a relationship audit, that is a single session, 90 to 120 minutes long, where I basically go do a deep dive into your situation, give you a tailored blueprint on how to achieve your goals, whether that is committed relationship or marriage, in record time. I will tell you exactly what the issue is, what's holding you back, and it's oftentimes not what you think it is. In fact, 100% of the time, it's not what you think it is, because if you knew what the problem was, you would have already solved it. It's not what you think it is. I can point that out to you, make it very plain, give you a plan and a blueprint, send you away with a tangible where you can feel good. And for those of you that want to work with me over a longer period of time or in a closer capacity than just a one-time deal, I have programs. I have a group program. I also have one-on-one coaching that you can email me or send me a DM, and I'll let you know all the details, and we can see what's the best way to help you. Okay? I love you so much. I think, is it Sunday today? I think it's Sunday. So have a wonderful Sunday, a wonderful week ahead. Thank you for watching, and I will talk to you soon. Take care, and bye for now.